Alexandrovich stated he felt the girl pushed him to talk about bringing a condom, yet could not remember how many times the girl pushed him. And he stated that he was embarrassed for being arrested.
If enough patriots come together, we'll be able to build a grassroots campaign necessary to stop Ilhan Omar in her tracks. It's time that we put strong female lawyers like myself forward to make our case.
And they say, you guys must remain nonpartisan. You must be committed to the truth. You haven't done that. You betrayed your duties to America. And so now your security clearances are revoked. New documents dropped in the case of Tom Alexandrovich, this cyber director from Israel, who is now the subject of a lot of questions because this probable cause statement says he committed crimes in Las Vegas. Now, he's currently not in the United States anymore. He's now fled the country. He's back in Israel. And we're seeing a bunch of headlines like this, like the Israeli government official is charged with soliciting a 15-year-old girl in Las Vegas. This story coming out over from The Guardian. And of course, this is not exactly accurate. Okay, he was arrested for this crime, but he's not actually been charged formally with a criminal complaint as of yet. But what they said is this, from the U.S. Attorney in Nevada, their official post. They said last week, Tom Alexandrovich was arrested in a Nevada Internet Crimes Against Children joint operation, and he was booked into the Henderson Detention Center. This important multi-agency operation targeted child predators who preyed upon the most vulnerable members of our community. And so as a result of this operation, the Clark County District Attorney's Office is handling the prosecution. So the feds handing it off to the local prosecutors. And for these types of crimes, I think that's appropriate and most normal. Most of these types of charges are state charges, unless it's a much broader operation across state lines. And they could always, of course, make that charge. But we're not asking for them to overly single out this person. We're just asking that he gets the same treatment that every other American citizen who's also entitled to the presumption of innocence is getting when they're charged with these, albeit heinous crimes. So we see the U.S. State Department also responded to this. They said the Department of State is aware that Tom Alexandrovich, Israeli citizen, was arrested in Las Vegas and given a court date for charges related to soliciting a minor. He did not claim diplomatic immunity and was released by a state judge pending a court date, which kind of. Any claims the U.S. government intervened are false. And I think that's kind of the point, is like, you didn't intervene, like no prosecutor, nobody in the process, state person, FBI person, Homeland Security person, North Las Vegas, Metro Las Vegas, nobody who's there or who's communicating with the prosecutors, state, county, or federal prosecutors, is saying, can we just revoke this dude's passport while he's charged with very heinous crime? So that's the point. Obviously, you did not intervene to stop that. You just kind of let the whole system go. And we want to know who was in that line of custody of making the decision, right? The chain of custody for the decision. Who decided, actually, yeah, we're not going to invoke that and just allow this dude to exit the country. So this came out from U.S. Attorney Chata today. She says a liberal district attorney and state court judge in Nevada failed to require an alleged child molester to surrender his passport, which allowed him to flee our country. And that we want to know, like, okay, who was that? And we want to compare and contrast that versus their other requests for the other defendants. The Attorney General Bondi just called me outraged, yeah, and she also called Kash Patel. This story is catching a lot of wind. Now, the individual who fled our country should have had his passport seized by state authorities. He must be returned immediately to face justice. Okay, so the U.S. Attorney in Nevada saying, Benjamin Netanyahu, send this dude back so that he can face justice. Now, we'll go through the criminal complaint here and see what's inside, but I want to thank Sagar for releasing this for us. He posted this. He says, I have obtained documents pertaining to the arrest of this Israeli government official called Tom Alexandrovich, caught up in a recent Las Vegas undercover child sex sting. Says Alexandrovich allegedly solicited what he believed to be a 15-year-old for intercourse. He told police he met with the FBI in Vegas, had a future meeting with the NSA, and immediately identified himself. He says, you can grab the documents over there, and he posted the link publicly for the rest of us, breakingpoints.locals.com, if you want to check it out. And so he posted these documents, and here's what they say. The undersigned make the following declaration subject to penalty of perjury, that I, Mar Kohut, is a peace officer with Henderson PD, and I learned the following facts and circumstances which led me to believe that these crimes occurred at this location. Writing, here are the details of probable cause. That I learned the following facts and circumstances which led me to believe that the below named subject committed or was committing the offenses at this location on August 6, 2025. Here are the details. This is the the case number, and this is the crime: luring a minor using technology. The location, of course, and the individual is Tom Alexandrovich, date of birth, there it is. Here's an introduction. Your person is a detective currently employed, and is probably the title of his operation, with the Henderson Police Department and a member of the Nevada Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force and the Child Exploitation Task Force. Your declarant is responsible for investigating a multitude of internet crimes against children and related crimes that include the exploitation and trafficking of kids. So your declarant, along with another person, the OCE operation, conducted an undercover operation where OCE posed as a 15-year-old juvenile. This is a joint operation with CETF, ICA, CHPD, leveraging the internet to identify individuals who've got an interest in the kids. This operation utilizes known chatting and dating websites and applications. Here's the initial contact. On August 6, 2025, not long ago, an online covert employee, aka an OCE, and a member of the task force and or the Nevada Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force was connected to the internet in an online undercover capacity, participating in online activity, publicly chatting on an internet platform. Now, during the operation, a software program was used to record online activity, chats, and media identified within the internet chatting application known as Pure, and later WhatsApp, with a phone number at this address. The purpose of the undercover operation was for the fake 15-year-old to log into an application. In this case, the application was called Pure, and later WhatsApp, with a phone number here, to identify individuals who are involved with the exploitation of children. In general, a mobile application can be downloaded and installed. We know what a mobile application is. Now, it should be noted that features pertaining to various platforms and the features of one particular application platform may not include or have the same features as others. And typically, application platform users can post comments, interact, and do other things. Now, through OCE's training and experience as undercover 15-year-old, due to the nature of online applications like Pure and WhatsApp, with phone numbers like this, subjects are more likely to encourage a child to produce abuse material, formerly referred to as CP, so we call it CSAM now, saying that these platforms are being used now to coordinate these meetings. Saying on or about the dates, August 6, an individual using the platforms called Pure and then transferred it over to WhatsApp with phone number so-and-so was found to have engaged in a conversation with this undercover. That chat conversation turned sexual in nature. During this online undercover communication, it was identified that this user used this platform to talk to a decoy acting as a 15-year-old female juvenile and spoke about the contact with that minor. The user later agreed to meet the decoy for contact at a predetermined meeting location, and not just any contact, the old hibbity-dibbity. The contact included bringing a prophylactive and taking the decoy to Cirque du Soleil, the 15-year-old female juvenile. So prior to meeting, photographs of the subject communicating with the decoy were obtained. They're like, can you send me a picture so I know who you are? He's like, sure. The suspect advised that they would be arriving in an Uber. Now, while the undercover was in contact with the subject and being made aware the subject may be in the area of the meeting, task force officers contacted a white adult male located in this car that was believed to be the subject in question. The subject was contacted at this, and it should be noted that Officer Hijar contacted the subject, later identified as Tom Alexandrovich, while a body-worn camera was in operation and recording the contact with this dude. So it's on camera, which I'm sure will come out soon. Every attempt was made to positively identify the user that agreed to the contact with a minor prior to any contact being made by the officers. The subject was identified as Tom Alexandrovich prior to being contacted. So on August 6 at 19:17 hours after making initial contact, he was placed into custody without incident. During contact, it was determined that he was in possession of a cellular device. It should be noted that the undercover attempted to make contact with the device the subject was speaking to to verify the device was in fact the one determined to be in his possession. The device did not alert or sound a notification at that time. So she might be pinging it, the undercover pinging it while they're there. Is it going off? No. Maybe it's on silent or something. Alexandrovich was advised that he was being placed under arrest and transported to Henderson Police Department for processing. The located cellular device was seized and also transported to the area, where it was also later secured as evidence pending a search warrant. Due to the aforementioned facts and circumstances, I determined that based on the undercover communications being made using Pure and WhatsApp with this phone number, in addition to the fact that Alexandrovich did arrive at the location and that he matched the depiction of the subject in the communication with the decoy juvenile, based on the images of the subject obtained while engaged in communication, sending some sort of pictures, that Alexandrovich was the same person in contact with the undercover using a mobile device, right? So they're just making sure it's his phone. Now, upon his arrival at the Henderson Police Department, a recorded interview with Alexandrovich was conducted, and a brief summary of that interview is as follows. On August 6, 2025, at 2000 hours, at the Henderson Police Department, Homeland Security investigator called this person and FBI special agent called this person conducted a post-arrest interview of Tom Alexandrovich, saying, here, this person used an audio recorder to record the interview, and closed-circuit video cameras simultaneously made an audio-visual recording of the interview. The duration of the interview was about 31 minutes in length. Here's the summary of his statements. The interview commenced at 2000 hours. Alexandrovich's date of birth, he says, the native language is Russian, is Hebrew. He agreed to speak, fully understands English. The law enforcement, Walsh, advised Alexandrovich of his Miranda rights. Okay, now he's in custody. Now they're going to ask him questions. So at 20:07, which he waived. He says, sure, happy to talk to you. Walsh advised Alexandrovich that due to being from Israel, the Israel consulate should be notified, and Alexandrovich agreed at 20 hours, saying, well, okay, since you're Israeli, we should contact them. Alexandrovich is from Israel, and he's visiting for the Black Hat Conference. He works for the Israeli government agency, and so far has been there for 14 years. He stated that he has never been arrested. He was not familiar with the consequences of speaking or not speaking with U.S. authorities. Now, Walsh stated, he says, well, I can't give you legal advice. However, if you wanted this story to be heard, you can talk to us, right? Standard stuff. If you want to speak to us, you can, but you don't have to. We talk if you want. We read your Miranda rights, so we're good. But Alexandrovich stated he has a meeting with the NSA tomorrow, the National Security Agency, and he had met several Bureau people and NSA people over the past week. Alexandrovich described the Bureau agents as one white guy who was tall and bald and one black guy. You're like, who are you meeting with the NSA? He's like some white dude and black guy. Alexandrovich stated he was at the conference to learn and stated he was in the United States 3 months ago for a crypto conference in New York City as well. He stated that he comes to the US about 2 to 3 times a year, and he uses an international phone number to chat. Now, he stated he could not remember the name of the girl he was chatting with, but he had met her on the Pure application. And he stated he had photos of himself on Pure, and he could not recall if he sent photos via the application. They asked him, where are you staying? I'm currently at the Conrad Hotel, floor 53. And he says, I use the name Adam to chat on dating applications. He agreed to go to a dinner and a show with the date, and he believed, he says, that the girl was 18 years old. That was the age listed on the Pure application. And I'm not familiar with that app, but it doesn't sound good. Alexandrovich stated he felt the girl pushed him to talk about bringing a condom, yet could not remember how many times the girl pushed him. And he stated that he was embarrassed for being arrested. Now, he questioned how much bail would cost and why he was under arrest, and the agent advised him that he would be transported to the jail while under arrest due to the chats being with a girl the age of 15 and their communication of sex and a condom. So Alexandrovich stated that he would need his glasses as his contacts were in his eyes. I can't read this. He stated he had his family members' phone numbers memorized. He stated he was in shock and he needed to contact someone about his international flight back to Israel. He stated he did not know the numbers for the Israeli government, stated his family was in Israel, stated it was very important to get numbers for his flight, stated his flight is on Friday to New York, then he's going to fly back to Israel, stated his phone does not have a password but uses his right thumbprint, and stated he needed the following numbers from his phone, all redacted. Now, he asked if he could message his family or make a call to the embassy. Walsh at the time stated that's not possible right now. He said, well, how about I take a lie detector test? I thought she was 18. The interview concluded. Now, the probable cause statement says, due to the aforementioned facts and circumstances, I determined that based on the undercover communications made on Pure and WhatsApp, and I'm sure these messages are probably pretty unequivocal, in addition to the fact that Alexandrovich did indeed arrive at the location, that he matched the description, he was talking to the decoy, same images that they got while they were communicating, and he was the same person in contact with them before the communication using his mobile device. He admitted to having been engaged in communications with the juvenile, and due to the aforementioned facts, we find that he did commit the offense of luring a minor using technology. He was transported and booked, and that's the doc. Now, charges obviously have not been filed thus far. This is the individual who deleted her Chata for Nevada account. This is the U.S. attorney in Nevada, and she deleted her personal account, which was very interesting, but not before a bunch of people were able to clip out this video of hers where she was making this statement as she was running for Attorney General. Here is the acting current U.S. attorney of Nevada.
The radical left is burning down our country and attacking Jews in the streets, and Ilhan Omar is fanning the flame. I'm Sigal Chattah, an Israeli-born lawyer running to be America's #1 conservative attorney general. I'll stand up to Ilhan Omar and take her team to court for defunding our police, opening our borders, and teaching our kids to hate each other based on the color of their skin. I need your help. The left is pouring money into this seat so they can put more criminals on the streets. Can you chip in $25 right now? If enough patriots come together, we'll be able to build a grassroots campaign necessary to stop Ilhan Omar in her tracks. It's time that we put strong female lawyers like myself forward to make our case.
That was not a question.
All right, so we know who she is, and we're going to ask whether charges will come down for this guy or not. But there's been some weird stuff going on, and Sean King, I know who he is and his background, but there was something weird going on where he posted a bunch about this, and those posts were deleted. It was a strange thing. Grok looks like it's confirmed, saying that X voluntarily deleted the tweets under doxing policies, and so the cyber director was able to get a bunch of bad posts about him removed off the internet. Pretty strange thing that's happening. Thomas Massie was also out. He came forward today with HR 2356. He says, today, with all this going on, would be a great day to tell your representative to co-sponsor my Dual Loyalty Disclosure Act, saying if dual citizens run for office, they should agree to disclose all countries in which they hold citizenship. Don't you agree? Pretty simple bill from Thomas Massie. So lots of questions about what's going on with the NSA, intelligence communities, Israeli intelligence, cyber directors, and all the things. Meanwhile, we've got Tulsi Gabbard came out. She's nuking security clearances for 37 new people. She said, being entrusted with the security clearance is a privilege, not a right. Those in the intelligence community who betray their oath to the Constitution and put their own interest ahead of the interest of the American people have broken the sacred trust they promised to hold. In doing so, they undermine our national security, safety, and security of the American people. That is why, at the president's direction, Tulsi has directed the revocation of the security clearances of 37 current and former intelligence professionals who have abused the public trust by politicizing and manipulating the evidence. And so these people all getting canceled. The security clearance system exists to protect our classified national security information. And it's the determination of this office that certain individuals in the list have engaged in some or all of the following conduct, including politicization or weaponization of intelligence to advance personal, partisan, or non-objective agendas inconsistent with national security priorities, failure to safeguard classified information, failure to adhere to professional analytic tradecraft standards, other conduct detrimental to our trust. And so the president has directed that effective immediately, the security clearances of the following 37 individuals are revoked. Their access to classified systems, facilities, materials, and information is terminated forthwith. Any contracts or employment with the U.S. government by these 37 individuals is hereby terminated. Any credentials held by these individuals must be surrendered to the appropriate security officials, and that's going to be a rough day for them. So here's the list of the people. A couple of Andrews. You see the names here. A bunch of them. Gutierrez, Jowers, Prescott, Garanus. Somebody's over there. Farnsworth lost his security clearance. Typical. Hardig. All right, so a bunch of them lost it, and they say, you guys must remain nonpartisan. You must be committed to the truth. You haven't done that. You betrayed your duties to America, and so now your security clearances are revoked. So interesting updates there, and hopefully the NSA cancels their meeting with Tom Alexandrovich. And we'll see if the Israelis do what the U.S. attorney has asked and return this guy to immediately face justice. We'll see if he comes back or not.